Good morning and welcome to Cawfeetawk. So, I recorded Pillow Talk last night, and the theme was what women wished men knew about intimacy and what men wish they knew about women in regards to intimacy. And one thing that I realized is communication as a whole seems to have broken down somewhere. I get a ton of messages from young kids asking me for advice because they feel like they can't talk to their parents. I totally get this. My mom was always like a cooler mom, right? Like she was cool. I was the third girl, so by the time she got to me, she had been broken down somewhat. Meredith and Carolyn broke her down. I still had rules, but she was a lot more flexible with me than she was with my sisters. But talking to her about things that I was feeling, talking to her about my anger or my issues, my insecurities, things with my boyfriend, my sisters were better for that, but some people don't have sisters. And there are situations where I want to respond and say, you really need to talk to your mom. She's your mom. I know you think you can't, because they say to me, you don't understand, Jamie. I can't talk to her. And that statement alone, whether it is true or not, is what these young women and men feel, girls and boys, whatever. So I don't want to poo-poo their feelings. I don't want to say, of course you can, just go talk to your mom. If they really believe that they can't, then something has happened to make them believe they can't, or they're cloaked in fear, right? So I wanted to talk about a cool idea that I had, that a girlfriend of mine who's a single mom is raising a son, and he's a teenager now, and she found like nudie magazines and things like that. And she was like, I don't know how to address it. I don't want to ignore it. I don't want him to think, I don't know how to address it. And I don't want to confront him because it'll be mortifying for him, for me. So I suggested to her, and what I want to suggest now is what I like to call a communication journal. Hear me out. So I said to her, I want you to get a journal where you and your son have an agreement. There will be no person-to-person confrontation unless both parties agree off what's written in this journal. So anything written in this journal, you cannot read and fly off the handle and confront your child. They cannot read and fly off the handle and confront you. The purpose of this journal is a safe place to express what you're thinking, feeling, or going through. And it forces the other person to read it, absorb it, and you can't overreact while you're writing. You have to think, and writing is a different process than speaking. Not everybody is an audio learner. Most men are not. They're visual, which is why a lot of times when we talk to our husbands and we tell them what we need, they see a lot of this. They don't hear what we're saying, and then we go, you never listen to me. It's because they're not audio learners. They're visual. If you wrote it down and he read it, he would absorb. I'm not saying he would act on it. I'm not saying all of a sudden you'd have like the husband helping out all over the place. I'm just saying he would probably receive the message loud and clear. When we say it, they don't hear it. So if you have a teenager, or if you are young, and you want to talk to your parents but you don't know how, suggest this communication journal with the rule that whatever you write, they cannot confront you. They can only write back. Leave it in a safe, neutral place where the other person can pick it up and read it, and get out the details of whatever needs to be discussed. And then when cooler heads prevail, you can pick an agreed time and sit down and talk. Many people I know that I have suggested this have done this. I know husbands and wives who have done this. I know daughters and mothers who have done this. I know mothers and sons who have done this. I even know one girl whose boyfriend wrote in the journal that he wanted to ask permission to marry her, and he knew the father didn't like him, and he wanted to explain his side of the story because the father would never listen to him. So he wrote in her communication journal with her dad. A lot of times I've heard that this works after infidelity in marriages. It allows a buffer from all the emotion to write out how you're feeling and what you need. And it is easier for your spouse to not feel like they are constantly being ridiculed or judged for the act or punished. It allows them to read what it is that you think or feel and then process it and respond. I just think a lot gets lost in translation, certainly over technology. And when we speak, a lot of times we're speaking only to be heard. We're not ever speaking to also listen. So in any situation where you feel like you can't communicate with someone, it just hit me that there's someone in my life I should take my own advice with. Well, that was profound. I guess I need to start a communication journal with somebody. If there's somebody in your life that you're struggling to communicate with, this could be an interesting option for you. But if you are young and you are going through something, I know you're going to tell me you can't talk to your parents. And I'm not going to try to convince you right now that you can. Although I would like to speak for moms everywhere and say, nobody will ever know or love you the way your mother does. The only thing she wants is for you to be happy and healthy. That is it. She can get past any indiscretion. She can get past any mistake you've made. She will love you until the end of her time, and then the end of your time and your grandchildren's time and your grandchildren's time. She will wait for you on the other side with bated breath. She will never stop watching you. She will never stop loving you. There is nothing in her life that matters more than yours. Nothing. So, now that I'm a big crybaby, please, mothers, daughters, husbands, wives, fathers, sons, friends, sister-in-laws, mother-in-laws, try it. Let me know how it works. I love you so much. Have a great day.